So early voting starts today, mail-in ballots going out, and a whole host of things that you've got to think about in your particular district, from county seats to Congress seats to even who's going to be your next representative at the Illinois State House. One of those, though, is facing no opponent, and that is State Representative Tim Butler. He joins us now to talk about some of the latest. Good morning, Representative. How you doing out there?
Bishop, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on this National Coffee Day. I appreciate that.
Oh, is it National Coffee Day? I didn't...
I saw that on the internet this morning, so it's got to be true. It's National Coffee Day.
Where do people get these lists of days? Because, yesterday was National Son's Day, and the day before that was National Daughter's Day, and now it's National Coffee Day. Do you have like a memo you get every day or something?
It used to be the greeting card industry, I guess, but now I guess you can just decide what it is on social media and say, hey, it's whatever. It's Great Bishop Day. All right.
All right, we'll see what happens with that Illinois Times poll. All right, so Representative, of course, today is early voting, and there's a whole host of things that are going to be up for voters to consider. Let's start at the top of the ballot here. One of the things is going to be the constitutional amendment to codify the collective bargaining in the state constitution. Don't we already have a right inherent to assemble with whoever we want to assemble with? Why is this necessary?
Well, I think that you're absolutely correct, Craig. I mean, unions already have the ability, folks already have the ability to collectively bargain. There's no problem with that, certainly in Illinois. This really, in my opinion, this comes straight out of the Rauner administration. This is things that the Democrats continue to act upon and look back into the Rauner years and say that, this is the reason they're going to do it, because someone like Bruce Rauner was elected governor. I mean, that's really the reason they're doing this. I think this is, again, another overstep by the Democrats trying to amend our Constitution, just like Governor Pritzker tried to do with the tax increase last time with the graduated income tax. It's a wrong-headed approach, I think, and I hope the people of Illinois see through it. Obviously, to amend our Constitution takes a supermajority, it takes 60% of the vote to be able to approve it. So I'm hoping that Amendment 1 doesn't get there.
We're talking with State Representative Tim Butler this morning with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, now 726. And we've also got a whole host of other things, including all of the various candidates for statewide office. Of course, you're a Republican. What do you see happening here when it comes to all of the different outcomes?
Well, I think this is going to be a close election. Look, the national trend still looks good for Republicans. I know Democrats have closed it on the generic ballot and things like that for Congress. But when you look at what's going on with the economy, when you look at so many people talking about, United States and really the world heading into a recession here potentially, I think people are still, really feeling it in their pocketbook. And you see the height of inflation that we have and so on. So I think people are really concerned about those issues, and those reflect obviously on the governance of President Biden and Governor Pritzker. And I think this is going to continues to be a good year for Republicans. Look, we've got an uphill battle, obviously, with especially with our statewide folks on. Obviously, the governor has more money than Senator Bailey will ever come dreaming about. But I think, we have a really good opportunity to make some gains in Illinois, and I'm hopeful, come November 9th, the Republicans will have done good things on Election Day.
Again, talking with State Representative Tim Butler here, and another major issue that's really seemed to come into stark focus in the past few weeks is the SAFET Act. Now, you and I have been talking about this, and people have been raising concerns about it from the law enforcement community since it passed back in January of 2021. But here we are now, just weeks before the November 8th election. You're going to come back. You're already in Springfield, but your colleagues are going to come back to Springfield the week after the election. And one of the things they could take up is changes to the SAFET Act. What do you think that's going to look like? And is it possible it's going to be substantive enough to quell some of the concerns from law enforcement and state's attorneys across the state?
Well, I think it's really instructive about what bad policy this is, and what a bad piece of legislation it was when it was passed in the middle of the night almost 2 years ago. That Senator Scott Bennett, a Democrat from Urbana, from Champaign County, has introduced legislation to make, I think, from some pretty significant changes to the SAFET Act with concerns about the no cash bail. And I mean that's a pretty liberal Democrat that's introducing that stuff. So I think that they know that they have problems with this piece of legislation. We have passed follow-up pieces of legislation to quote unquote correct the SAFET Act now 3 times. Now we're talking about a 4th. And I think, honestly, this, and Republicans have said this from the beginning, let's repeal this. Let's get rid of it off the books. And if we want to have a serious conversation about how we fight crime in the state of Illinois, let's have that conversation. But this was bad law to begin with, and the Democrats have to defend it going to the polls this fall. And all the folks that voted for this SAFET Act, I think, should be held accountable when it comes to the election this fall.
Now, another thing that's being warned about here, one of your colleagues who's running for state treasurer, State Representative Tim Butler, yesterday, he talked about all of the post-election tax increases that are set to take effect. Do you think that that's going to be pretty impactful on taxpayers' pocketbooks whenever the new year comes around, whenever you guys are heading back for fall session or for lame duck session after the new year and heading into the new General Assembly? What do you foresee happening there when it comes to all of the different tax increases that could be down the pike?
I mean, we've already got tax increases coming down the pike that we know about because the Democrats froze the rise in the motor fuel tax, the pennies that it is, froze that to try to, garner some support going into the election. So that's going up January 1. Right now, the unemployment trust fund, the rates for the taxes on the unemployment trust fund are going to be going up on employers come January 1. We've talked about that for a long time, that the Democrats refused to fix that this spring, and now that's going to pop on there January 1. And then I think, going back to, I believe that the Democrats will continue to try to raise folks' taxes. I think trying to pass another constitutional amendment to get away from our flat tax here in Illinois is certainly something that's going to happen. There's a candidate running for the state house in the Bloomington Normal area that talked about this in the debate the other night, how she voted for the tax amendment last time and would like to see it come up again. And I think that's the Democratic caucus is going to want to bring that up again, in my opinion.
State Representative Tim Butler, greatly appreciate you taking the time. Let's definitely connect again soon, especially close to the election and in preparation for you guys to come back for fall veto session. There's going to be a lot to talk about. There's no question about it. So I appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Thanks, Rick. Take care.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop.